honestly, when it comes right down to it, peaceful science was just this. I kind of got forced into it, in the sense of just realizing, there's got to be a better way.
I wanted to start by talking about Peaceful Science, which you founded, and just wondered if you could briefly discuss your approach to public discourse around science and Christian faith, and just kind of sketch that work that you're doing with Peaceful Science.
Yeah, so I'm a professor at a secular institution. I'm a Christian in science, and I'm a scientist in the church. And, kind of in that place between two worlds, I kind of noticed something you probably have too. There's, kind of the relationship between the church and the scientific community has been complicated, difficult, right? For a long time. And in some ways it's really gotten worse in recent years, right? I experienced that maybe in some of the same ways you did too. One of those really common places of conflict is origins, right? But it's not just origins, there's all these other places. And, God kind of had me in this place of really being between these two worlds, a scientist in the church and a Christian in science. And I just, honestly, when it comes right down to it, peaceful science was just this. I kind of got forced into it, in the sense of just realizing, there's got to be a better way for us to kind of be navigating these differences, and a better way for the church to engage with science and the scientists than this, and a better way for scientists to engage with the church. And I found out that there was some really low-hanging fruit in some ways on the origin stuff. It was just an area that was really open for a lot of fresh thinking and a new look at it. That's what this book comes out of. Though I'm not only interested in origins. One of the things that I think has been most interesting about this is how non-Christian scientists have responded to it. They've been some of the biggest supporters of what I'm doing, which has been really confusing for some people. I mean, I'm very thankful because it's not like there's anything that forces, my secular colleagues to be supportive of this. But I'm also not terribly surprised because it's really aligned with the best of what I've seen in science, And so, for example, Nathan Lentz, who was here last month, he was one of the early endorsers of my book, this book that talks about Adam and Eve maybe possibly being de novo created. He's an atheist, right? He's a biologist, and he endorsed the book early. And people ask, well, why did he do that? Well, there's a different question I've asked about that. Is what's the place for him with us? All of the efforts, really, of Christians in the sciences are really kind of backwards facing, just trying to engage the church. There's really no place for him. So that's another reason I really wanted, I really found a need for Peaceful Science, a place where I could actually include these friends that I was making that were really, many of them, honestly, are serving the church, but they're just not Christians. And how do I include them in a way that includes them, as equal partners, really trying to find a better way together and to find the common good in society together. Now, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in Peaceful Science, check out, just Google Peaceful Science, tons of articles. That'll probably be. And
join our mailing list too. So there's a lot going on and happening. It's been a journey, and there's a lot more to see and to follow along on.